Good evening and welcome to another special edition of Miami County Monthly News. Our goal is to bring you positive news stories about Peru and Miami County, Indiana. This special edition is about two of our many goals here at MCMN. The first is to inform the community of special events. The second, which we haven't done in a while, is to share stories about residents that have special interests or hobbies, which we like to call Everyone Has a Story. In this edition, we interview Miami County resident, Matt Denham, about his interest and involvement with remote control airplanes. Remote control airplanes has been a hobby of his since he was a young child. He is now the president of the Mississinewa Skyhawks Remote Control Club. We also interviewed Matt about his club's event on December 3rd at the Miami County Fairgrounds. The purpose of this event is to get more youth involved in remote control devices. Thank you MCMN videographer, Jim Allison, for taking the time to interview Matt about his hobby, and the opportunity Matt and his club is providing to residents of Miami County and the surrounding communities to get involved with RC cars, planes, and drones. Before we go on with the interview, we would like to make a simple plea. If you enjoy our news segments, please share them. We rely on our viewers to share our segments. Even if a particular segment does not interest you, please share it on Facebook. One of your friends might take an interest in a segment that you might not interest you. We make no money on publishing these time-consuming positive stories about Miami County. We get our motivation from people viewing our segments. So please, help motivate us.
I'm with Matt Denham here, and he is the president of
the Mississinewa Skyhawks Radio Control Club. We're located over in the Wabash area, our field is, and the reason we're doing this interview today is for the Santa Swap and Shop coming up December 3rd at the Miami County Fairgrounds in Peru, Indiana. The doors will open at 8 and close at 3.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about how you developed this and what you're doing.
Well, I got interested in the model airplanes at a young age, as most people do. Later in life, when I could afford them, I was able to get into the club and start building and flying radio-controlled airplanes. Our club was started approximately in 1970, and at that time they had 50 members, and they had went to the Mississinewa Reservoir DNR property people and asked for a spot to fly at. And through the paperwork, history, or whatever, they was able to get a flying spot on the Mississinewa Reservoir. And the club started developing then a pavilion. Over the years, they have put a brick building up. The DNR, in coordination with them and the club members, built a 32 by 50 pavilion to set under, which has picnic tables. Now it's shaded with nice trees, and we have a beautiful flying site. Okay, the reason we're having this swap meet on December 3rd is we're trying to get the youth more involved in the radio-controlled hobby. It has become an ever-changing hobby over the years. We started out with control line airplanes, building out of kits. The hobby now has progressed into an ARF market, which is almost ready to fly market, which some of the planes I'll show you later are. We don't have the youth in our hobby anymore. There is too many involvements with computers, cell phones, too many other things they're doing. And also our hobby is rapidly changing into the drone market. The goal is to try to get kids involved more in the hobby, maybe get a dad to bring the kid out to the swap meet on Saturday. We're going to offer model cars to build and take home, model rockets. These can be purchased at our swap meet for a low discounted price. You can either build them there or you can take them home for Christmas gifts or whatever it is. Our swap meet will include a large variety of used and new model airplanes and accessories to go with them. There will be drones there. There will be an individual there who is a licensed drone pilot to answer questions. We have a representative from the Academy of Model Aeronautics, which is based in Muncie, Indiana, not far from us. And it is the largest organization of model airplanes in the United States and overseas. And another feature of our swap meet that day will have a lot of experienced pilots that's been in the RC business, from people who just assemble models, people who actually build models, from plans and kits, and we even have people that build them from just a set of plans, which we call scratch building. These folks will be scattered all throughout there. Some of the vendors are those exact people. There will be other people there. If you have questions about radio-controlled airplanes, helicopters, drones, this will be the place to go and get your answers. And this is a main thing we're doing this is to try to get involvement in the Miami County, Wabash County, Howard, several associating counties to get the kids involved and let them know there is a hobby out here that's fun, it's exciting, it's drug-free, it has a great influence on kids, and a lot of our students that we've taught in the past have went on to be pilots in the Air Force, ROTC programs. We have a young gentleman we taught a couple years ago to fly, and at this point he flies better than any of us in the club, and he has now completed his pilot certificate and is a licensed full-scale pilot. Okay, the hours for this will be Saturday, 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. Our build session for the children or parents or whoever wants to come and build a model will be around 11:30 to 3 is when the planned time we do that. Our swap meet is in the morning. You're more than welcome to come at that time and join in on any of the activities. There will be food on site available for sale. It's going to be from the Miami County 4-H Association. We'll furnish the food. A couple other highlights. I mean, it's just a place to come and see everything to do with the model hobby versus model cars. There will be RC cars there, the model airplanes, the helicopters, the drones, anything remote control will be there, and there will be people with information there also to hand out. There'll be handouts from the AMA, anything to take home. Also that day there will be a raffle. At this time we're believing it's going to be a model airplane that you can build, and it will be raffled off that day. And since that is the We Care weekend for our sister town of Kokomo, the proceeds will be donated to We Care to help underprivileged children and whatever else they do with that. Also, one of our large vendors at the far end of our facility will be Phil's Hobby Shop in Fort Wayne. They are one of the few hobby shops in the northern Indiana that is still open today. It's he has a great selection of stuff. He's going to bring stuff down. There will also be demos. There's an area off to the side where Phil's Hobby Shop is, and he will be giving demos of the small drones, possibly some other items. We're not sure yet, but he is going to be there. He's a huge vendor on the end. So the models came from Phil's. If you got time, come out, put on a show with him. I mean, he'll let you fly them when you're out there, some of the drones, so it'll be a great day. This is an example of what we call an ARF, almost ready to fly. For those of you that don't have time to actually stick build an airplane from a set of plans or anything else, this is how an ARF comes packaged to you. It's packaged tight, everything like I say is covered. There is quite a bit of assembly required in it. You do have a lot of small parts, pieces, all this to put in it. Your engine cowl, it's your fake dummy cowl, your wings. This happens to be a biplane, so it has 4 sections of the wings with it. They do come built very well, depending on the quality of the model, and there is several quality models out there today. But this is something, you know, for those that want to get into the hobby, this is a great way to get into it today and see if you're going to like it before you spend a whole winter or 2 winters building an aircraft that you're not sure about the flying or anything else. These planes come in a range from a trainer plane clear up to an advanced aerobatic aircraft. They're relatively time-wise, you're looking, first-time builder could spend anywhere from 15 to 20 hours assembling this, where if you was to build a kit from actually sticks, covering, bolts, and glue, your man hours are incredibly long, and you could spend, like I say, a whole winter depending on your time to put involved with the hobby or with the club or anything like that. It is nice when you do have something like this, and that's one of the advantages of being a member of a model airplane club. You have someone you can contact when you have a problem, you know. Hey Joe, how does this wing go together? We're not sure, you know. And one of the things in the future I'd like to do in our model airplane club, if we do get new members and interest, is have like a Saturday build day. We used to do this years ago, and guys would bring their projects, we'd meet at somebody's shop, we'd help each other get things fixed and repaired. So that's one of the advantages of being in a model airplane club today versus just being a pilot out of nowhere and not knowing anything about it. This is one of the examples of one of the aircraft that we have built. This is actually a plans-built aircraft. The plans were from the AMA, which is our model association, And when you receive them, you have actually a set of blueprints, and then you start cutting the balls of wood out yourself and assembling it. This is an electric-powered seaplane called a Sky Skimmer. Very small, all powered by electric, has an electric pusher motor in the back of it. A lot of fun to fly on the snow. This particular model we haven't yet put on water to test out. The model here was built by our probably oldest member we have in the club right now, Carl McCain. He turned 90 this summer, and we made him an honorary lifetime member. And Carl is one of the builders that will build an airplane quicker than anybody in Miami County. And he doesn't build ARFs, he builds kits, or he usually scratch builds these airplanes. Now I've got another one here I'll show you an example of. This is another type of aircraft. This is a 540 Edge. It is also electric powered. It is what is called an ARF, almost ready to fly. When you purchase the airplane, it is pre-covered. You have to basically put all the electronics in it. On the inside of it, you have to put all the servos in, the wiring, everything like that. The advantage of it is it's a very quick build aircraft. You can get into the air and get to flying rapidly fast, versus a kit build aircraft can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to build, depending on the size of it and the complex of it. This has become a very popular market because in the hobby today, no one wants to build an airplane. We'd rather buy one pre-assembled in a box and have it together in a rapid time and go out and enjoy the hobby much more than building. In the past, we used to spend all winter building our aircraft and flying them in the summer. And sometimes some of the flights lasted one flight and we were back to the drawing board.
Now, what are we looking at here?
Okay, what we're looking at here, these are snap-type models. This is what's going to be available at the swap shop that day for your child, youth, whatever to come in, put together. We'll have tables set up. We'll have necessary tools that you can build them right there, or you can take them home and put them in as a stocking stuffer. This is a Ford 150 truck. We have a Camaro, we have an Audi, and we have a Mustang. These are relatively, can be built. There is no glue required. These two up here do take a little more time to build than the two on the bottom. I would highly suggest if Dad brings the kid out, that Dad sits down with the child and maybe puts these together at the place to spend some good quality time with your children. Also, we've purchased some rockets from the Estes Rocket Company. These are a quick build rocket. They do come with a parachute inside of them, which would actually pop out once it's deploted, floats down once the rocket's shot off. These rockets will be there to build also that day. Phil's Hobby Shop, Fort Wayne, is going to have the accessories, motors, and capability to launch them. So depending on the weather that day, we may go out and shoot some rockets off. We've been cleared to do that, so we're not really sure. But you can come and build these. This is another form of the hobby that I haven't been in years ago, but I haven't kept up on it because I got into the model airplanes. But there is rocket clubs around central Indiana that do build and model rockets. This is a very small rocket. They do have them in various sizes, various engines, and various altitude. But it is another great hobby to get into for model rocketing. Like I say, these aren't RC plastic. These are plastic models. They're not RC models. They're very detailed. The wheels roll on them. Has rubber wheels, chrome accessories, decals, and it's a pretty neat looking little truck and car. So it makes a great gift for the kids, and it gets their hands on something they can actually do themselves and build. And it's much like building a model airplane. Once you build it, you feel the sense of accomplishment that you have actually done something, and a nice job doing it, and a great hobby to be into.
And they will be taken care of a little better.
Yes, and they'll be taken care of because you have built them, and maybe you can set that up on your headboard, your mantle, and say, me and Dad built this December 3rd, 2016 at the Santa Swapping Shop in Peru.
Hope to see you there.
Hope to see you there.
That's for sure.
All right, thank you.
Now, getting back to boys and their toys.
Okay.
And you started building RCs when?
Approximately 15 years ago, I got into the hobby. I actually started with my youngest daughter, which is now 27, so my timeline may be a little off there, but we started out as a youth. I was into model aviation. My father's been into aviation. He's been a pilot for over 50 years. He and I have both built 2 full-scale airplanes and flew them. Love the flying of the full-scale airplanes, but when you're up there flying around in the air by yourself sometimes, there's not much going on. So I got into the RC hobby, got into the club. I was much happier. I was involved. I had people around me. You have people that will teach you stuff. I was able to bring my daughter into it. My daughter learned to fly models. And probably over the 15 years, I have built or assembled well over 100 model airplanes of all different types and sizes. And we started out with small ones, as most hobbies do. And now we're up to the 3rd scale, the 1/4 scale, and basically 1/4 and 3rd scale gasoline-powered planes is what we fly now.
Just happened to see these sitting on your desk, and tell me a little bit about those.
Well, this is actually a Piper Cub that me and my great friend Mac McCain, which is our 90-year-old member, last year while he was home from Florida in the summertime, we attained this aircraft. It was, at the time, it was missing the nose, 1 wing. Oh, he got it basically as they were going to make an ornament on a wall with it. And the more that he looked at it, being a pilot himself, and he has built several large full-scale airplanes and several models, he said, "You think we can rebuild this thing?" And I said, "Well, I know you can rebuild it if you got the time." And bless his heart, he spent 4 months on it, and it's a 3rd scale Piper Cub done like an L4. He completed the whole thing, and the aircraft flies fantastic. Now, the one I have over here, this is a Newport 28. This is a Balsa USA. This is a kit build aircraft. This came with a set of blueprints and a box of balsa wood. And a good friend of mine, which is our new president of the Mississinewa Skyhawks, Steve Eagle, he had these 2 kits, and he kind of, I would say, conned me into building his for my kit. So he furnished the 2 kits, and I spent the last 2 winters building them. I do have mine completed now. It's been painted to match the replica of the hat in the ring, which was a symbol of the aircraft at the time. It's a great flying airplane. It is a 1/4 scale model, where the Cub is a 3rd scale, which is a lot larger plane, but this is a smaller version. Flies fantastic, and we got about 5 good flights in on it this winter, or some, excuse me.
And the background that I see there with the Cub, that is
This is actually what the background here is. This is out at our sister club, which is the Converse Eagles.
okay. And that's located.
That is located on the Converse Airport.
Okay.
Their flying field is.